We begin our meditation today. Let's give attention to the inner space, the consciousness space, the space of viewing, witnessing, observing. No need to think, just center. In that place of viewing or observing or witnessing without judgment, without labeling, without choices. If we are to connect with the universe, if we are to connect to the source of the universe, we need to come to that place. That's where spirituality is born. That's the home. You're not this body. You're not the thought that you create. You're not the emotion that you generate. You're not the desire that you generate from the ego. You're pure being, free, boundless, limitless, untainted. Learn to come to that center and stay there. It's only a matter of centering, observing, and staying in what might be termed choiceless awareness. No labeling, no judgment, no expectations. Into the silence. Because you are a multidimensional being, you need to integrate that silence throughout your entire being. That silence must envelop every cell. That silence must pervade the emotional landscape. That silence must pervade all of your being. That's where the challenge is. To bring all levels of your being into peacefulness, into harmony. The senses need to be pacified. When they're highly energized and externalized through your attention, your energies become scattered. So withdraw the attention from being caught in the senses. It's an act of detachment from the senses. And centering in the home space, the space from where thought is born. Emotions have their genesis, their beginning. The desires spring from. Come back to that home space where energy is undifferentiated and is merged in consciousness. Just stay in pure awareness of being. That's the highest meditation. Breathing helps you to pacify the senses, helps you to bring balance to every level of being. but use the power of focus and centering. Center the root of the mental field as you observe the mind. Center in the root of the heart space as you open up to the most beautiful experience of unconditional loving, forgiving, letting go. Center in the gut space that you may be with every cell in lovingness, in mindfulness, in appreciation, in gratitude. The body is a gift. Be in gratitude to every cell and be a good guardian to these cells. They're in your keeping as an ego. And center in the root of your physical being as you create perineum awareness. So let your attention move along the spinal column as you center at every level. Use the power of the breath to draw prana, free prana, from around you to space, to revitalize your pranamaya kosha, your vital body that drives the physical. Draw the prana in through the nadis, nostril nadis, and bring them into your field. And use the vayus, the vital currents of prana and apana, to manage the energies, the operating energies of your lungs, brain, senses. And energies of elimination, apana. Remember every word I've said. Let the words guide you into the stillness of being, balance of energies, appreciative awareness and choiceless awareness. And watch your inner space being nourished by the grace of your higher self at every level. Stay in the silence with me, giving power to the inner guide, the doer inside, the supreme doer, as she moves through your being, supporting you, guiding you, lifting you, nourishing you, strengthening you. Just behind your ego, she appears. When you're submissive and humble, when you're ready and receptive, she appears in your space, supporting you. Now that you've come into the silence with me, let's continue to energize this co-creative space. I'm with you, you're with me. In the energy space. Stay with me. as I stay with you. Slowly open your awareness. Let's energize the senses, physical senses, from the peacefulness and lovingness and calmness and watchfulness of the inner space. That is safely and cautiously energize the senses by breathing into the gut, bringing more of the gross air. Into the body, breathe into the gut, breathe into the chest, expand the chest, breathe in to the throat area, opening up the shoulders. Bring more oxygen into the brain. As you energize the Manas chakra, the chakra connected to the senses. Manage the breath, conscious breathing, and observe how your consciousness opens up to the physical space around you and elements of nature come more into your field of experience. Smelling, that's a root chakra sense. Tasting, that's a sacral chakra sense. Seeing, that's a navel chakra sense. Touching, that's a heart chakra sense. Hearing, that's a throat chakra sense. All connected to the Manas chakra of the eyebrow. Give attention to these physical senses. And open to appreciate the elements of nature around you that sustain the body. Appreciative awareness, consciousness. Think of nature as a gift to the soul, Prakriti. Prakriti involves the subtle senses, the mind, the physical field. And Purusha applies to soul awareness, individual soul awareness. Open your consciousness to the beauty of the outer space. If your consciousness is centered in beauty, you'll appreciate the beauty of the outer. As within, so without. As we perceive, so is our reality. And let's affirm our intention for this day. I center my ego consciousness, individual consciousness, and that limitless source of being, pure awareness. That's my joy, to be centered there, to stay centered there. That's my safety net. That's my sacred space. It's my home. I center my ego there. That my every thought, word, and action in this day come from that source of pure light within me, pure sattva nature, and be a blessing to my world. I give thanks. I'm in appreciation of every blessing I receive from my universe as a soul in bondage and limitation. And I pray to always be centered in this space of appreciation of the divine within and without. That space of grace. Om. Peace. 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 Thank you, everyone. Welcome to the visible world, the world of the senses, wherever you are today, whatever time zone. Let us celebrate life from the very center of being, from the highest tower of consciousness. As we ascend, let us celebrate life. The higher you climb on this tower, metaphorically, the greater your view of the landscape. The divine pervades the entire existence. The limitless, changeless, nameless, beyond form. Attributeless, but the source of all attributes. The more you ascend that tower of consciousness, the more you perceive the divine everywhere. And divine order becomes apparent. It becomes the order of your moment. I've been asking you to see divine order in the play. But of course, it's easier said than done. And I know some of you think, I gave you a series of questions for contemplation for the afternoon, for my afternoon today. And you may think that you intellectually know all of this, of course. If you've been studying the spiritual domain, understanding the spiritual language, intellectually you know the divine is everywhere. There is divine order everywhere. But when I say see divine order, I didn't mean intellectually only. I mean to integrate that into your experience, that your whole being resonates with that seeing. Not just the mind, intellectually acknowledging, but your whole being resonates with that. If you can remember, I told you about 3 steps to wisdom. In Sanskrit we say Shravana, you listen. Manan, you contemplate, you converse, you ruminate, go over, analyze, process, until you have a good understanding. It's intellectual, but the last step is called nididhyasana. How do you assimilate that concept so it becomes part of you, it becomes a lifestyle, it becomes the way you respond to your universe? It is no longer guesswork on your part. It's not longer a belief or imagination. It comes to the very root of your being. It resonates with everything inside of you. That is when you can truly see. The seeing is an experience in your being. So when I pose these questions for your contemplation, it is for that reason, for your contemplation, for your processing, for your analyzing, for your deepening of the experience until you become that which you're researching and studying and analyzing. You become it. That's where seeing is supposed to take you. And that only then, it's only then that you will live in the awareness of divine order, within and without. That's a challenge. So it's a journey to this space of seeing divine order. And for those of you who have studied the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna is treating, he's the warrior, he's treating Krishna, who is the embodiment of supreme consciousness in a human form. He's treating Krishna as his friend and comrade. His guide, his teacher. But he is seeing Krishna with human eyes. But he is increasingly aware of Krishna's greatness. And then when he's caught in the battle and the confusion and he's seeking guidance from Krishna, he's realizing that the depth of Krishna is amazing. Who's this being that I am thinking is just my friend and guide? And he asked him, made a request, please show me who you really are. I want to know. Who are you? And Krishna said, which is a lesson for all of us, you can't see who I really am with those human eyes. You just can't. He's asking Arjuna to open up his center of seeing. And he knows that Arjuna is going to be challenged because Arjuna is so caught up in the senses, so caught up in the mind, doesn't want to fight this righteous fight. Krishna is telling him, nobody dies. Why are you worrying about this? No weapon can harm you, that which you are. Why don't you fight, Arjuna? Why don't you fight? And Krishna is saying, but I will give you the grace. I'll give you the divine eye. And so he blessed him that his third eye just opened up. And guess what? He saw divine order everywhere. He saw the Supreme. Everywhere he looked, he saw the essence of Krishna. And then he realized what his play is all about. Ultimately, in the Bhagavad Gita, he says, yes, Lord, I will do thy bidding. He knew that the play is karmic, and he knew that he had to engage in the play, and he had the grace of the universe right with him. He saw it with his own eyes. No enemies, only challenges in the space for us to grow. So you need to be in a safe space whilst you're processing. You know, you're in a Dwapara Yuga, right? So if you don't hold yourself in a safe space, you're going to be caught up in everybody's energy around you. There's only darkness everywhere you go. I never expected this world to be a world of light. But I know my inner world to be a world of light. And that's my joy. Nobody can change what is happening in my inner world. I'm centered there. Nobody can change that. You can do anything. Even nature can do anything. It can't touch who I really am. You don't need to be enlightened to have this resonance. Once you begin to be spiritually awakened and build more awareness, you are held in this resonance. It's for you to keep your attention there. It's there within you. It's for you to stay attentive to the inner space. That's why I took you this morning, or tried to guide you, to stay attentive to your center of being. If you enter this play without that centering, more than likely you're going to fall. So you have to arm yourself every day with your centering. It's not an easy play. I see it every day. Challenges everywhere. Darkness faces us everywhere. This is not a paradise. It isn't. We're in a dark yuga. We have to wait until the golden age of Satyug before it can become a collective vision.
The Lakers won the NBA Finals, 4 matches to 2 against the Heat. They won the last game 106 to 93.
This phone has given me the results of a game. It heard my voice. Must have heard me speaking about the battle. See, phones have awareness. So we need to stay in that safe space during this yoga, and that's what we try to create at the Blue Star. That's what I try to create with you. And of course, you may not find me the one to be behind you all the time with a whip, or prodding at you, trying to inspire you in every possible way. I try to do that, but I leave you to contemplate. I leave you to practice. I leave you to ascend whilst I'm watchful over you, trying to help you in every possible way. But I want you to do the work. If you come back to me every time asking the same question, then what can I do? I don't get excited. But if I see you walking up, ascending this ladder in the consciousness, and you ask me the right question, I become excited. The questions about the next step, the questions about the practices that you are engaged in, I become excited, tremendously excited. So our practices need to be meaningful. We need to realize that grace is with us at every turn as we ascend the ladder of consciousness. Grace is always with us. That has been the experience of my life. Grace is continuously with us, even in the darkness. So that is where I'll end my conversation to you this morning. And I look forward to physically conversing with you or orally conversing with you in my afternoon as we discuss seeing divine order in the play. Another aspect of conscious co-creation with the divine, with the universe. So it's sunny today in our world, everybody. Marvelous energies amidst the dark energies. There's more rest, recreation, churches, temples. Be nourished by it, feed from it, and let your day be one in higher consciousness. And just to say, for those of you who are viewing here, I think we have the hours that are extended for programs have now gone to an hour and a half, which allows us to begin our programming. And so look out for it, and we have a large temple space, so we can continue to open up, keeping safe distance. So soon, we'll announce the start of our collective programming again. Have a blessed day, everyone. Namaskar.